So the Sixers fall to the Knicks last night and are now 2-8 on the season. We'll talk about the good and bad from Joel Embiid's season debut. Also, Jared McCain continues to look like a young phenom, and the national media is hating again on Joel Embiid. So, we're officially back at this point. But welcome into the show, Philly Take with RB. I'm RB. Do me a favor. Like this video, go down below, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for helping us get to 40K subscribers. We have been grinding at this for a minute, so I really do appreciate it. And I'm not going to be on here too long today because we have another game tonight, so tap in tonight for our pregame, live game, and postgame show, Sixers Game Day Live. But nonetheless, man, this game went exactly how I called it in the pregame show last night. This is what I said. The Sixers were going to be in a dogfight. And then with Embiid and Paul George's minute restriction, they were going to slip up in the fourth. And, they collapsed. They lost control of it. And after a bad overturn call, Knicks going a 9-0 run, game was over. But overall, I saw a lot more positives last night from this team. I get we're frustrated. They're 2-8. They now have to dig themselves out of a hole. That's why I was really mad when they were losing to the Pistons and teams like that. But it looked like the team had a lot more confidence last night. And even though the Sixers go down 111-99, one thing still doesn't change, and that is Jalen Brunson. I saw a lot of people, a lot of Knicks fans, commenting on Joel Embiid's flopping last night. They were mad. I think he had like 8 free throws, even though he's doubled and tripled every possession. National media won't tell you that. Shaq won't tell you that. We'll get to him in a little bit. But apparently, plays like this are completely allowable and are okay. Here's Jalen Brunson. Joel Embiid gets hacked down low 3 times consecutive, but Jalen Brunson blows by Embiid after a switch and then leans back and flails. So that's okay, right? That's okay for Jalen Brunson to do that, but Joel Embiid can't do the swing through and try to get a foul. Jalen Brunson is still a foul baiting merchant, so shout out to Jalen Brunson. I want to talk about Jared McCain, okay? I've said it every video, start Jared McCain. He has shown the promise, the potential, the will, use whatever you want. Jared McCain is an absolute hooper. All right. The guy goes out there last night, fearless again. And this was against a pretty good defense in the New York Knicks. I mean, they haven't been as good this year, but, they're a feisty team. They try to get up on you, bump you. Jared McCain does not look phased. He played 30 minutes last night, and he scored 23 points, 4 threes off the bench. And it looked like Nick Nurse finally started to realize at the tail end of the game, I got to play Jared McCain over Kyle Lowry because Kyle Lowry just does not have it anymore. So I will continue to be on the Jared McCain movement. Start Jared McCain. His 3 ball is so natural. His playmaking looks good. He's really good at being aggressive and using his body to get to the cup. And he just looks like one of the most confident players on this team right now. And mark my words, if he does get more opportunity, he is going to be in the Rookie of the Year conversation. Look, maybe when Maxey comes back, you don't want to start him next to Maxey. Fine, I get it. But right now, there is no excuse not to play Jared McCain 30-plus minutes a night and to start him as well. So I would definitely play him. He looks so comfortable running that 2-man game with Joel Embiid. And here is McCain over his last 6, averaging almost 21 minutes per game, almost 16 points, 2 rebounds, 1.7 assists, and 42.5% from 3. So the Sixers definitely finally got a good investment in their first-round draft pick. Jared McCain on playing with Joel Embiid last night, quote, "It's pretty easy playing with him. You come off the screen and you're wide open. You get him the ball and they double and you are wide open. It is pretty simple." Yeah, it is pretty simple, right? And that's what we've been saying the whole time. Joel Embiid coming back, even though he did not play efficiently last night, did things that are not going to show up on the box score. He made the game easier for his teammates. The magnitude, the gravity of Joel Embiid on the floor is going to open it up for other players. That's all I was looking for. I had Sixer fans on Twitter coming at me after the game. "Oh, you're making excuses for this team. You're making excuses. And, you need to stop this crap." Listen, man, if you expected the Sixers to go in there last night and beat the New York Knicks down Tyrese Maxey with PG and Joel Embiid on a minute restriction, you're absolutely delusional. And I knew Joel Embiid was going to have to get into conditioning. He does this every single year. It takes him a couple games, right? But, we have the national media hating on Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid commented on this last night. He says, I was a little timid when it came to attacking, but I expected it. I knew that pushing off on the knee, that's the mental hurdle I have to get used to. I felt pretty good health-wise. I think it's about trusting myself. Joel Embiid talks about the mental aspect of coming back from an injury, and this is very true. This is very real with a lot of knee injuries, and, it takes time. It takes time to, have it click in your brain that it's okay to bend, this type of way or put pressure on the knee, and this was pretty much the season opener. This was the first game. I don't think people are remembering that. I get we're mad that they are 2-8, but this was the first action for Joel Embiid on the floor, and he was thrown into the fire against a team like the Knicks, who obviously don't like him already from the way the playoffs went last year. And I just think, the reactions were over the top, but I also predicted that. I said that, the Embiid hate club, the overreactions were going to come flying through, and that's exactly what happened. And speaking of which, we are officially back as the national media had their way, and of course it was Shaquille O'Neal. I had people coming in on the live stream at halftime saying, Shaq's hating. I didn't see what he said, but this morning I looked it up, and here's what he said. Quote, Joel Embiid will never win a championship until he gets his mind and his attitude right. You need to stop. You need to stop this, okay? I'm not disagreeing entirely with what you're saying. Joel Embiid does need to be mature. He does need to be professional. But he references Joel Embiid's comments about the back-to-back. And then he says, well, Joel's only 0 for 3. This was at halftime, right? He's only 0 for 3. I'm convinced that Shaquille O'Neal does not watch Sixer games. I'm convinced he sits in the studio and just plays on his phone. Because a couple weeks ago, they talked about Joel Embiid, and Shaq said, yeah, Joel never gets doubled. He never gets tripled. Shaq, he gets doubled and tripled every single possession. Joel Embiid talked about tomorrow night, a.k.a. tonight, against the Cleveland Cavs, and he said that he wants to play. So Joel Embiid trolled all of us. He literally says, I want to play. That's up to those guys, the medical staff. I mean, I know I said I would never play back-to-backs, but I'm a troll. So I'm sure at some point I will play. I feel good. Right now. We're going to see, but it is up to them. It's not my decision. If I can, I'll be out there. So all the people calling him soft and this and that can relax. I understand what Shaq's saying about the attitude, right? You want to have that killer mentality. You want to come back and be that leader. Should Joel Embiid be out here trolling like this? Probably not. But when it comes to being on the floor, it was his first game. He went 2 for 11. But again, his gravity helped the entire team out. They looked more confident. They gave the Knicks, fully healthy, a run for their money in the fourth quarter. Like, they were there until that blown overturned call, which led to a 9-0 run. So Joel Embiid wants to be out there. He knows that this team cannot afford to lose a lot more games. And let's take a look at what it looked like on the actual floor, okay? Because, Joel Embiid this, Joel Embiid that. Here's Joel Embiid's shot chart last night against the New York Knicks. You notice something about this? There is only 2 shots in the paint. Now, I know what people are going to say. Well, why didn't Joel establish himself more? Why didn't he do this? If you actually watch the game, Shaquille O'Neal, the New York Knicks were pressuring him with 2 or 3 players every single time. And without Tyrese Maxey and with Kyle Lowry looking washed, the only glimpse of this we got was with Jared McCain in the fourth quarter. The Sixers have no post-entry passing. You got to establish Embiid down on the block. You have to get him his looks on his spots on the floor. Here's one example, right? Sixers pretty much have no point guard on the floor. Jeff Down Jr. is just sitting over here lurking in the shadows. But Joel Embiid starts to drive into the paint, and there's 3 guys, actually 4, that are eyeing him, right? So what does Joel do? He's going to dime it off to Gershon Yabusele, and Yabu's played pretty well this year, but he's got pretty much a wide open 3, and he doinks it. So is that Joel Embiid's fault too? Joel Embiid is drawing in 3 players at once, leading to an open look, which is what we expected to see, and Gershon can't knock it down. Okay, let's look at another shot. He's going to try to look around, scan. They're going to get it to McCain. Here's what I'm saying. Finds Joel. Bridges tries to tip it away. Could Embiid have gone up right here? Probably thought Bridges might have been on his back shoulder. But look who's coming at him. Everybody. Here comes Bridges. Here comes Towns. So Shaquille O'Neal does not watch Sixer games. With that quote a couple weeks ago and what they said last night about not being aggressive. It's not that he wasn't being aggressive. Matter of fact, coming out of the gate, I thought he was a little too aggressive for the first 5 minutes. I thought Joel Embiid was very antsy. It felt like he wanted to get back at the Knicks, like he wanted to make a statement in the NBA Cup, or like a, hey, I'm here, I'm back type of thing, when I feel like he just has to trust his teammates. Even with the shots not falling, he's got to trust that they will fall. And, Joel Embiid later in this game was trying to get to his spots on the floor, but nobody could feed him the rock when he really needed to. Kelly Oubre, definitely not. I mean, Caleb Martin, no. Jared McCain started to a bit. Kyle Lowry, not so much. So that's kind of where it was at. Paul George was on a heater last night. That's another bright spot. Joel Embiid's presence on the floor opened it up for Paul George with 29 points and 7 threes. This is the version that we want to see consistently. If the Sixers can get this level of PG with Maxey back and Embiid on the floor, then the Sixers can really have something cooking here. But those are my takeaways from game number 1 of Joel Embiid. We'll see if he plays tonight. Sixers going up against the undefeated Cavs. The road does not get easier. Sixers got to find a way to win. So although it was not perfect last night, although it was ugly at times, I saw a lot more positives on the floor than we have seen in prior games without Joel Embiid. Give me your thoughts. Do you agree or disagree? Appreciate you all, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.